Captain on the bridge.
Alright, captains, we are back here on the bridge, and today, yes, we will be on the Premonition Temporal Science Spearhead. Yes, captains, but before we get into this video, do us a huge favor and hit that like button. But also, if you're new here, welcome. Consider subscribing here to the YouTube bridge, where we're always on the lookout for like-minded captains to share our love, passion for Star Trek Online, but also things Star Trek. Now, with that said, here we go. Yes, captains, a little late on this, as this ship actually released last year. But what we want to do in this video is go over the build that we put on this ship here. So the weapons, space set, consoles, stations, traits, and docks, and take it into a Cure Advance. But yes, this ship is part of the Heritage Bundle, and it is probably the prettiest ship, and I give the looks the Space Barbie award to this one of the three. Now, this ship, like I had mentioned, came out last year, and it actually is from an older game. That was the whole premise of the Heritage Bundle, is all the ships came from older Star Trek games. This one in particular came from the Star Trek ARMADA series. I believe it's Star Trek ARMADA 2, correct if I'm wrong in the comments below, captains. But regardless, I'm glad they added it because she looks pretty smexy. So actually what I also want to do is head over to the actual original trailer just to have a look at it and see how it looks, because we also kind of took some inspiration of the build, because again, we've never played the ARMADA series, so we don't really know what they use in the game. So we'll just use this. Now, I won't play it long because we've already gone over this, but we're going to just see her in action. And there she is, looking pretty smexy, doing her thing against the Borg. There, as you can see, she's firing photons and a phaser. But she also has this cool, unique device here that is going to do one of the things that I think is pretty cool, and that I'm glad we have in game, which is split an Enterprise F into two, and then boom, you have a little mini fleet going on for you. But so there's that. I also want to take a look at some images from the internet. So of course that is the model that we have in Star Trek Online, but I believe this was the original model right there. I'm not sure if that's an in-game shot, but as you can see, definitely pretty close to what they brought into Star Trek Online. And then again, here's another shot. I believe this is actually from the ARMADA game. As you can see, the USS Premonition class. So going back onto the store bridge here, I kind of wish they would have given this the old skin and just kind of cleaned it up. But what we got here is pretty smexy. This takes a lot of inspiration, I believe, from a couple ships. One is, of course, the Sovereign, which you can see the nacelles there. Very Sovereign-esque, but I do love the details on them. And then you have kind of an arrowhead looking, so that immediately, to me, you kind of think of, or I think of, like the Prometheus type ships. But for this deflector, I feel like the Vesta vibes, because I believe the original Vesta also has something like that for its phaser lance, or focus phaser beam, along with the long runway there to the shuttle bay. But regardless, she is looking good. The skin that they went with here is absolutely amazing and beautiful. Love this. Well, I used to call it a third nacelle, but I was corrected, it being called a temporal drive. But again, if I'm wrong, please let me know in the comments below. But she's a good looking ship, and we decided to start with this ship because in the trailer this is the first ship that was showcased. So of the Heritage Bundle, we're going to go in order of how they were shown in that little trailer there. So go over the build here. So again, the USS Premonition, it's a Premonition Temporal Science Spearhead. I am not a Sci-Fu captain by any means, so all I do is try to make the build work best for me with what I have. And again, we just took some inspiration from that trailer. So this is what we did. The forward here, we went with 3 phaser beam arrays with, again, the over proc. I do love these beams. Again, this is something we just bought from the exchange, and in my opinion, they do proc enough here for us to use them. And since this is a future ship, it has to have a quantum torpedo. So we put the most powerful quantum torpedo on this, which is the Maelstrom quantum torpedo, which is from the legendary Akira. Space set, we have the Elite Fleet Intervention Protomatter Deflector from your fleet colony. SecDef, the deteriorating secondary deflector, which we just bought from the exchange, and then we just use it when we have to. Impulse engines is the prevailing innervated impulse from your competition rep. The Elite Fleet Plasma Integrated Warp Core, which is from your fleet starbase. And the Tilly's Review pending modified shield from the Discovery rep. For the aft weapons here, we use a prolonged engagement photon torpedo, one of my favorite torpedoes, mostly on a lot of my builds that have these themes going on, as I just love it when torpedoes fire out of the aft. Very Star Trek-y. So we got this as an event prize years ago, but you can pick this up in the Phoenix prize pack. I believe the ultra or very rare tier. Next up, we have the Trilithium Enhanced Omnidirectional Phaser Beam, which is a reward from the Nexus episode. Very nice free Omni Beam, which gives some fire cycle haste. And then lastly, the Omnidirectional Phaser Beam array that we just got off the exchange, and we use it on our beam heavy builds such as this. Device-wise, we have the Temporal Negotiator, help with our cooldowns. Energy Candy, to help give us the plus 20% bonus energy weapon damage for 20 seconds, plus 30 Starship Shield penetration for 20 seconds as well. And then we're rounding it off with the Kobayashi Maru Transponder for its buff goodness. Now for the consoles, now at the time of the release of this ship, this console was not there, because this console is from the Helios, which is from the winter event. This ship, the bundle, released like I believe around summer of last 2024. But we have it now, or we're going to use it because it's a really good console. So we have it slotted in engineering, because that's kind of where we just want to put it at this one, because we don't, if we did have a universal slot, we would have put it there. But right now we'll just put it in the engineering one. It gives us plus 20 aux power. But the great thing about this is the 3 toggles that this thing uses, which of course is if you toggle the shields to bridge, you get plus 20% weapons fire cycle haste. The engine to bridge, plus 15% critical severity. And then aux to bridge, plus 5% crit chance. And these are just the toggles right here. Can't beat those. And then the 2 left in engineering, all we did was just put the phaser isomags on them for the plus 39.4% phaser damage, plus 7.3 weapon power, and stacking max weapon power to help keep our beams as hot as possible. Now we're also going to use the Gemini device. This is the console that comes with this ship and what we saw there in the trailer, which is pretty freaking awesome. Yes, it gives a plus 20% exotic damage, but it summons allied ships, so summons 2 copies of the USS Enterprise, plus 20% weapon fire cycle haste for 30 seconds. So you can also beat that, and we can see that here when we activate that console right there, Gemini effect. As you can see there, 2 Enterprises come in and they split off, and then they help you, and then after a short while they do explode. But that's pretty cool. They will help and aid you in battle for a bit. Next up, we have the DPRM, or Dynamic Power Distributor Module, very staple on all my builds. Comes from the Atlas or the Prototype Dreadnought, which you can get from your event prize. 11.3 all damage resistance rating, plus 19% directed energy damage. But when you click it, bonus damage, resistance, and hull regen. Essentially the only heal that I have in most of my builds, if not all. But when we click it for 20 seconds, plus 40% bonus damage while above 80%, plus 100 bonus damage resistance rating, plus 500% hull regen. And then, of course, we always pair it up with a point defense bombardment warhead, which comes from the NX, plus 25% projectile damage, plus 1% crit chance. But the two-piece of this is definitely going to help us on this build, so plus 33% phaser damage for directed energy weapons. Next up, we're going to be using the bio-neural infusion circuits from the Lobi store, flat out, plus 26.2% crit severity, and it does give us a little bit of Starship hull capacity, plus 29.5, that, and of course Starship control expertise as well. Next, we're going to use the Domino console, which is from the Bajoran Interceptor. You can get that ship as an epic prize from the Phoenix prize pack. Plus 15% phaser damage, plus 20 AC rating. But when we click it, weapon damage plus haste, extended by kills for 10 seconds. This is what happens. 25% fire cycle haste for energy weapons, 25% bonus all damage, 25% recharge speed for bridge officer abilities, plus 100% recharge speed for torpedo weapons. If you defeat a foe, plus 2 seconds duration to all effects. So we try to use it once we are in the heat of battle to try to get that extended as best as possible. Next up, we're going to be using the emulating phaser lance from the Deimos pilot destroyer. My first event campaign pick, and I do not regret it. Plus 15.8% phaser damage, and plus 43.8 Starship Shield Pen. I kind of pretend it's firing from the temporal drive-ish area. I pretend in my head. Next up, the experimental power redirection. This is from the Excelsior 2, or the XL2. 19.9% increased energy damage, plus 13.3 Starship weapon amplification, improves critical hit severity with weapons. And of course, this is a symphony of beam, thaw, overload. It's absolutely beautiful. And lastly, we decided to put this, the shield absorptive frequency generator. This is from the Valdur. This does actually help also with some shields healing. And as you can see there, when below 90% on any shield facing, 2.5% chance per shot for all energy weapons to restore shields for 200% of outgoing damage. So we rarely use this, but I was finding that I was a little squishy with the ship, so we decided to use that slot. Now, of course, as you see, captains, I did not T6X to the ship. We just kind of want to see how ships do right out of the box, and I believe it's doing okay. When this had parts, this was around plus 200 DPS, I believe. Regardless, it was still doing some good performance and helping out the team. Now, stat-wise, we have 31.1% crit chance and a crit severity of 156.3%. Now, we do have our Pendevers helping us because I'm at rank 600. I can go to 750, but we were doing okay before the level cap, and we're still doing fine now. Next up is our skills. It hasn't changed, nor will it ever change, in my opinion, or I think it won't. But as you can see there, we have 8 spent in engineering, 10 spent in sci, and then 28 spent in tactical. For our traits, this is what we did here. Unconventional systems, superior projectile training, again to help our torps there. The Boimler effect. A good day to die, adaptive offense, fragment of AI tech, intelligence agent attaché, self-modulating fire, spirit beam training, and inspirational leader. Our starship traits: entwine tactical matrices, universal designs, the ruin of our enemies, emergency weapon cycle, and supercharge weapons. Same traits actually we used in our last build. Now the one thing that we didn't change that was supposed to be changed, we're going to take this out and put in the all damage magnified power. There you go. So we had advanced targeting systems, the magnified firepower, precision, enhanced shield penetration, and Tyler's duality. For our stations, left to right, top to bottom, this is what we decided to do. So Heisenberg amplifier, emit unstable warp bubble, emergency power to weapons 3, torpedo spread 1, attack pattern beta 1, FA 3. And I like using FA 3 with a combination of those overbeams, because usually after FA we have the proc of those overbeams and it sounds pretty awesome. Emergency power to engines, structural integrity collapse, structural analysis, scramble sensors. Now this is a power that I don't normally use, especially when I'm going for quote-unquote canon look with the 1N CANON. But since this is a game ship, this is from a game actually, and it's a future ship, why not give it grab well? Why not? And then recursive shearing 3. And we have Dr. Beverly Crusher here to help us give us a high yield 1 by using her psi team whenever possible. And usually it's about 2 activations or 3 activations. When you activate it once, you'll have the high yield. When you activate it a second time, there's going to be a cooldown on it still in effect, but by the 3rd time you hit psi team, you will have access to your high yield. So that's station. Now go to our doofs. We'll go for over our dupes. So the 2 on ground helping us in space. O'Neill Falconer, increased damage versus the Berg. It says ground, but they do help in space. Elder Malikatan, increased damage versus all. And for our active space ones, we have the Emergency Con Holographic Officer here for the recharge of evasive maneuvers when emergency powered engines is activated. Agent Neural, attack pattern beta restores hull when firing. So a little bit of a help there too as well. As I said, I was finding I was a little bit squishy on the ship, so. Then we have 1 projectile officer here for a chance to stack crit severity when we fire the projectiles. And then 3 energy weapons officer. 1 gives us a chance to stack crit chance, and 2 of them gives us a chance to stack crit severity. So there you go, that's the build. Again, this ship wins the looks for all the 3 ships there in the Heritage Bundle. So we'll head over to a Cure Advance, and as we normally do, we're going to head over to the left side, clear that as fast as possible, head over to the right side, clear the ships heading over to the Kang, clear the right side, head over to the center, clear all of that, and then finish off the mission. So here we go. Whew. She's looking real good. I'm loving the way that ship really looks. But here we go. Let's see how she does here. Summon that. Clear that temporal. Aim over there. Activate our Helios buffs. Okay, we cleared that out. Cleared that out. Clear these ships heading over there. Over here quickly, get these guys.
Defensive capabilities are unable to withstand us. Lower your shields and await assimilation.
Protect the Kang as best as possible. Okay, that's clear. Now I'll head over here. There's our beam overload Foss Symphony. Clears that out. Then we'll head over to this side. It's fully cleared. And clear out the remaining ships here. Heading towards the Kang.
We will add your technological and biological distinctiveness to our own.
We're going to be able to summon the Enterprises soon here to help us out. There they are. Help take some heat off of us too as well. There we go. Let's do this. There you go. Nice. I saw that. The Enterprise was helping. Love that. Let's make sure everything's clear. Yeah, I think we cleared everything pretty nicely. All right, let's tell the Kang to get out of here. And then we'll finish off this mission. Taking care of this last group here. So let's buff up. Best as we can. Again, we'll be able to call the Enterprise again. Woo! Woo! Oh, so good. So good. And there we have it. That is how she did against the Borg, and she did pretty good, in my opinion. Now we'll go over here. Take the ship selfie. Captains, if you don't know what that is, the shelfies are ship selfies. This is one of my favorite spots to take, usually the thumbnail of the video, or any of the videos that we do, because of the lighting here is just amazing. And look at that. You get that glow underneath. You get that little deflector look. That could be it. That could be it. We'll take a couple. But as you can see, she did pretty well, in my opinion. I did, like I said, give it a little bit more survivability, but that did not compromise how it performed, in my opinion. She did really well. I've taken her out about 3-4 times and have made some changes, definitely, to her, just to ensure that she does not blow up right away. But regardless, in that run, she did pretty good. So let's head out of here and give our 2 final ECs. But like I said, of the 3 ships from the Heritage Bundle, this one grabs the Space Barbie award for being the most prettiest. She definitely looks really good compared to the other 2. So that is one of the 2 ships down from the Heritage Bundle. Again, we're a little late on it, but we are going to push them out. As you can see, Captains, we've been pushing out all the ship builds that we have been behind on, and we're actually really excited to showcase this bundle, because this is one of the best bundles that I've bought in here in Star Trek Online. So I do highly recommend it. If you have the chance, if you have the resources, to definitely get it. So do us a favor, Captains, hit the like button to help the video and channel out. Also, comment below, let us know if you got the Premonition, what you did with your build. If you went full Sci-Fu, Sci-Do, or Do-Sci, I should say, and or if you also did some sort of theme on it, I'd love to know. Also, consider subscribing here to the YouTube Bridge, and we'll leave it on this note.
Live long and prosper.